Is it better than over here or over here?
I mean, I'll make out with you either way.
Why is it always make out with you?
Well, we can do other stuff.
I'm a grown man. Look, like I have needs. Look, making out was fun in 4th grade.
But now it's just hand stuff.
I'm all about the hand stuff now.
No butt stuff.
A hand jibber?
Hand jibber?
Butter uteron?
Buttery.
A blur jibber?
Have you guys seen that Aubrey Plaza movie?
Yeah.
Where what's it called? The list or the to-do list?
Oh my god!
And she gives a hand job with butter. I'm like, that's so insanitary. That dude's gonna have so many infections.
That fucking movie.
That's a good movie though, right?
Yeah,
Like I thought it was really good.
I was listening to the radio this morning on my way home from work, and they were talking about STDs and asking. Well, originally they were asking like people if they had given up sex for any like sort of time,
right?
For whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
There's this one guy was like, "Yeah, I had to for like a year just because I ended up getting genital warts," and he like went into detail about what
it happens,
like.
dude. Like,
yeah, I know.
Trust me, we know people like that happens.
Exactly, and he was like, "Yeah, I went to the doctor to get him lasered off, and it was just like the Death Star destroying Alderaan."
The good thing about a lot of strains of genital warts is that it is curable, not curable, but it dissipates.
Yeah, like
it'll
your
leave the
body
system.
will take care of it. after a
Exactly.
I mean, the virus stays in your system, but it does.
No, like certain strains. Certain
Okay.
strains, though, once it goes, it goes.
Right.
So, like, you can be cured of it, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even the ones that stay in your system, you can get injections that'll combat that, and it'll
after
still
a while.
be there, but you will most likely not
Another
get
fucked
them
up
again.
thing, though,
even
is
though
like-
it's
And
still
it won't be
possible.
contagious after a long
Right.
time
Another
either.
thing is some of those can like cause cancer.
Exactly.
Yeah,
They
just
cause
fuck.
the HPV virus.
Yeah.
I read about that all the time. Not because I have them. let me remind our listeners I don't have genital warts. It's just that when I was younger and promiscuous, that was a big fear
You
of
gotta
mine.
know what's out there.
Yeah.
Exactly. You find a spot on your dick, you don't know what it is. Is it a blister?
Right?
Is it, are you skiing or are you doing gay porn?
Is that just chafing from like internet or what?
Or shaving. Shaving
Yeah.
too, like
Ooh. Shaving the taint.
no, why are you shaving your taint?
Damn.
No one's
No
touching
one
your
sees
taint.
that.
No one's going for the grungle, all right? You don't
It's just the bridge, man. It's just the bridge.
I was talking like ingrown hairs like everywhere else, but you don't need
I just said that because that was part of what they were talking about this morning.
were you listening to Chuck and the Freak?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I was listening to that on my way home. You all right, Dave? Is it because I said grungle? Well, okay, Dave's out of commission for the episode. If you haven't listened to this before, this is the Cave Trolls podcast. I am Terry, and I have Dave,
Hello.
and I have Jordan.
Hi there.
Jordan, you wearing a platypus shirt?
Perry
That
the
is
platypus.
Perry the platypus to you.
I feel so left out because you have a Captain America shirt on,
Hoorah!
and I'm wearing a plain white tee.
That's just your thing.
Hey,
It was
Terry,
just clean.
you know someone named Delilah?
No, I don't know anyone named Delilah, although I want to play that song.
Here she's been in a big city.
Okay, so
how's
that
she doing?
that song gets a bad rap. That's a good song.
It is. I love it.
It was just played a lot at
yeah.
the time.
Oh,
worn way the hell out.
Yeah.
If you haven't listened to us before, this is a conversational podcast. We go up, down, left, and right. We go over wherever the fuck we want to talk about. Mostly we talk about nerdy and geek stuff, things, culture. But usually we just get really drunk and then
Whatever
ramble.
other garbage
we-
flies from our mouths.
We talk about stuff and things.
Right,
You know?
last week I cried and complained about the all new, all different Marvel, about how it was going to ruin my life because it was expensive and they were changing Spider-Man and that they were spoiling Secret Wars.
Yeah.
Which they did one of those things. Well, two of those things. They were pretty fucking expensive and they
Yeah.
did
Yeah.
spoil Secret Wars. Invincible Iron Man especially. That little so spoilers, if you guys haven't read any of these books this week, we're going to talk a little bit about what we thought about them. So we'll jump right into it. What did you guys think of Amazing Spider-Man?
I loved it.
It was awesome. I apologize, Mr. Slott, that I thought it wasn't going to be good. It was awesome. The backups were awesome as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was really cool. If you want to check out my review on it, they're up on my blog. I'll plug those later on. But
The one that sticks out in my mind that's for the backups would be the Spider-Woman.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it starts to show her being pregnant, Jessica Drew. Do you guys think it's Hawkeye's kid?
I mean, it very well could be.
I mean, if you neither one of you guys have read Hawkeye, so
No.
you have to read that a little bit. But they do have a little bit of an on and again, off again
But I
relationship
mean, why
there.
wouldn't it be?
Right, but I mean, she's Spider-Woman. She can collect men in her web and do whatever she wants with them. So it could be anybody's. I'm not saying she's a slut. I'm just saying she has options. She's a pretty lady. But back to the main book, I thought Mockingbird was an awesome inclusion in
Yeah,
there.
I didn't expect that. And I
No,
thought,
me neither.
when I saw that, I thought it was awesome.
But I don't know if I like her mask. When she first showed up, I thought she was Madame Mask.
Yeah.
I was a little bit thrown off. Like, Madame Mask...
Who now?
Madame Mask looks just like that, except for she has black hair and she has a golden mask. She's a villain that pops up a lot through the ages.
I didn't really question it or notice it as much because it's Spider-Mobile, man.
Exactly.
I was focused on that.
Spider-Mobile. Can we talk about that for a second? That was the thing.
Spider-Mobile.
I loved the witty banter and how they use the Spider-Mobile to reintroduce Spider-Man, essentially.
Yeah.
And like how he's like talking about, he's like, look, like, I'm really good at multitasking. He's used that as an example about how he's now a playboy. Like, he's getting laid all the fucking time. And they mentioned that in there. About how he's a professional driver.
Yeah.
Like how he got, like, training and stuff.
Yeah, they went back to it a couple times.
And he learned
about-
Mandarin.
Yeah,
While
that's how
learning
he
how to
learned
drive.
Mandarin.
And then he was sleeping with his Mandarin and driving instructor.
Oh, the break. Yeah.
That was really cool. That did a really good job of like kind of just reminding me this is still Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He's still very humble about all that stuff.
Exactly,
He is
and-
a playboy.
Yeah, the philanthropy. You know,
Yep.
he gives like what they said, like 70% of his income goes to charity,
Yep.
and then the rest of it is capped, so he makes as much as middle management.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So like he's not like the highest paid person in the company or anything like that.
He doesn't care about the money. He just straight up wants to help people.
So and like really, I think this book did a good job of showing how Peter earned this. You know, like like a couple years ago, he was working at Horizon Labs and he was teaching at the X-Men Academy, and he was a teacher. And this is the next step to that. Like he's now successful, which is really weird seeing Peter successful, but I liked it.
yeah,
Makes
it was.
sense. He's
yeah.
an inventor. He's a genius.
Exactly. It made a lot less sense that he was poor for a long time.
Sometimes
honestly.
you need a good change of pace.
And that's why I'm apologizing, because last week I freaked out. I was like, really? He's going to be the poor man's Tony Stark? And he fucking owns up to that.
Speaking of poor man's Tony Stark, I love how they addressed that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he like calls himself that. He's like, yeah, I'm like the poor man's Tony Stark. Emphasis on the poor. I love him having all those gadgets.
Yeah.
And what did you guys think of the like? I love the art. I thought the art was really good. I thought they did a really good job of showing when he had his bodyguard in the suit instead of him. You could tell that it wasn't Pete in the suit. So they did a really good job of that. What did you guys think about the color? How they introduced green to the suit? I really noticed that.
I actually didn't notice that.
You
so
didn't
much.
notice that? I thought that was a little bit more prevalent, but maybe that was just me.
Yeah, I saw. I mean, I noticed it obviously from the beginning, just looking at the cover.
Cover,
so
exactly,
I was
yeah.
looking out for it more.
Me too.
Well,
That's probably me too.
I mean, I saw it in the cover, but I didn't really notice it in the book.
You notice it a lot when he jumps out in the tunnel when he's doing the Spider-Mobile thing. But the reason why I bring it up is I thought it looked really good. I thought it actually fit the costume well.
Yeah.
It basically what the green did is it showed that this was a new suit, even though it looks like classic Spider-Man. It's more technical. There's a lot more gadgets inside of it. You know how he was like Web Shooter 3 and
Yeah.
it was like the wires and stuff like that. That's what the green light that was showing off his symbol in his eyes was basically showing you like, hey, this isn't, you know, the original Spider-Man suit.
This isn't just no plain old spandex, man.
Yeah, it
It's
reminded
all
me of
techie.
Spider-Man Unlimited. Do you guys remember that show in that book?
I love that show.
He actually used all of his prowess like to have different like abilities. Like he had the spider tracers more. He had different webbing, and that's what this really reminded me
I
of.
actually wanted to watch that show the other night.
I bring it up because I started rewatching it last week. Not good.
Oh no, but
I never actually watched the show.
It's got a really bad like high evolutionary subplot.
yeah, that's not even like a subplot. Like he
Okay,
is,
yeah,
he's-
it's like the main plot. He's the
Yeah.
main bad guy.
like even as a kid, not knowing what the high evolutionary was, I saw it and I'm like, what is this?
The reason why I really like that
Dumb.
show is because it did a really good job with Carnage and Venom.
Yes,
Like showing that like even though they were crazy and like chaotic killers on Earth, there was a higher purpose to the symbiotes. That was the first show that really showed me that, and like they didn't really continue it until this year with Guardians of the Galaxy. Well, 2015 or 2014 that they went to the symbiote planet. I think it was 2015. Doesn't matter. So we liked Amazing Spider-Man.
yeah.
Yep.
It did a good job. Mockingbird was an awesome addition to the book. Pete is still same old Pete. What I put in my review was that it's an advanced scope, like he is worldly Spider-Man, but it's still classic. It's still Pete having a hard time being interrupted by villains at the worst possible moment. He's just not broke anymore.
Yeah.
Is the main difference that I've noticed, and it's not that bad. I thought it was. Brave and Bold is what I put as the team up between Mockingbird.
Yeah, it has a very large opening for more possibilities with him
Exactly.
having money.
And I also like how they're kind of setting it up to be similar to Tony Stark with Spider-Man being his bodyguard, but really more like Batman Incorporated is what I felt like.
Yeah.
How Spidey was everywhere. Like he had one in New York, he had one in Europe. I like what they're going for there, and I hope they build more with that.
What did you think about the whole thing with Doc Ock?
Oh, at the end?
Yeah.
See, I don't remember Dan Slott's run before Superior Spider-Man that well. I need to reread it because I don't know if it was like...
That's before he died.
Yeah.
From Doc Ock. He took over Spider-Man's mind and everything.
Yeah, no. I know that. I've read Superior Spider-Man. What I'm talking about is with Doc Ock taking over that robot at the end, is what we're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Spoilers. I'm sorry for Amazing Spider-Man, but yeah. So Doc Ock's still alive in a computer somewhere in Europe?
No, it was in the Horizon lab. It was with them. The people who were from Horizon.
No, it was in Sejani's building.
Yeah,
And she runs the Europe leg of Parker Industries.
Okay. We'll go with that.
Because it was her assistant who was talking to the robot.
Right.
And I think Sejani's up to something. I think she's going to be a foil / villain.
Definitely seemed like that.
So that kind of sucks, but, still interesting. She was a good character before, so that's neat to see. It's cool to see Peter being the smartest person in the room and not being outsmarted by, little things. Like, he is the smartest person in the room, and he's succeeding well. He's like Batman, kind of. He's living up to the potential, which is neat to see. I think that's why this book's going to work, changing up the formula, is that Peter is living up to his potential.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of neat.
Well, I mean, he's had enough time to build everything up. He's made mistakes throughout his entire life, and now he's at that point where
He's also been 30 for 20 years. So.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're bound to do something right eventually.
Instead of Captain America and all them telling him he's too young and makes too many mistakes to be a part of the Avengers, he's...
Right. Speaking of all that, I was a little bit burnt out by the time I finished all these books. All the Playboy stuff. Like, every single person that came out this week was just like, oh, I'm kind of a horn dog.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Like, Doctor Strange I thought was neat because I didn't really see him like that before. Like, that was his character before he met the Ancient One and became, Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah.
He became a different person. Like, he still had love interest, but it wasn't that kind of thing. I like that dynamic. He reminded me, like, how Peter was always kind of like the Woody Allen, like, nebbish guy in New York.
Yeah.
Now it seems like Doctor Strange is going to be that. You know what I mean? Like, he's just kind of like walking around Manhattan, hitting on chicks, defeating ghosts. He's like Woody Allen in Ghostbusters.
All right.
Did you like the Doctor Strange book?
I loved it.
What did you guys like about it?
One scene in particular when he was walking through the streets, seeing all the entities and all the different
right.
ghosts
That's
and
exactly what
stuff,
I was referring to.
either,
Yeah,
like
With his
attached
wizard eyes.
to the people that are like
walking around, or like following them.
Exactly.
Like, how did he put it? He was like good bacteria, but like on a mystical level.
Yeah, it made me think a lot of Constantine.
Yes,
the way
like
he sees things.
He sees the world in a different lens, like how like there's all these things happening that you're just not aware of. Like, you don't need to be afraid of most of these things. It's like harmless. It's like the bacteria in yogurt that you eat.
Yeah, it's just like bacteria for your soul.
Or yeah, exactly. Or like the mites that are on your face is what he references. But it's good until he finds that like, what do you call it? Soul lamprey.
Yeah, something like that. Soul sucker.
Soul sucker. Like, it looked like a lamprey or a leech on this old man's back. So he's all hunched over and he kills it. And then the guy flips his cane around.
Has a great day the rest of the day.
And everyone thinks he's crazy because he's talking to himself because he's fighting on the soul plane, but his body's still there.
Yeah.
So like he's like being strangled by this leech, but everyone just sees this crazy dude on the street freaking out,
struggling.
And he talks about, like, in the book, he's like, look, next time you see a dude talking to himself on the street, you better be nice to him. You might be saving the world.
Yeah, you don't know.
I thought the comedy was really unexpected, and I thought it was really well. The one problem I did have with the whole book wasn't with the writing. It was a little bit with the art. I love the art direction. I love how it's more stylized in a lot of these books. Like, Marvel, to me, always had a problem with being the same old, like, everyone's using the same kind of art. Whereas with DC right now, the DCU, you have things like Black Canary, Batgirl, Prez, books like that are kind of doing a different kind of art style. Where these books all kind of look the same except for Doctor Strange. So I don't want to, like, disparage it. It was cool, and I liked it. But the combat, I couldn't tell sometimes panel to panel what was happening.
See, I didn't have that problem with that.
It might just be me,
Yeah,
but like, or sometimes like he's like summoning like the weapon, and that panel wasn't needed. You know what I mean? Like, it was cool showing him summon the weapon, but like you only saw like half of the sword, and the next one you kind of saw it half swung. It just seemed like they needed to focus a little bit more on the combat.
Yeah, but I
Maybe
also
tighten
see
it
as
up,
like
you know?
that would like be an introduction to, hey, he can summon weapons now. And that's
Oh,
what
I
he
agree.
does.
No, I like that. It just seemed like I said, it just felt a little bit muddled to me.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be dialed back in later issues.
Right, or dialed forward and made like a little bit more prevalent,
Yeah.
like showing exactly what's happening.
Right.
Because the first page, like with all the flowers and the teddy bears, I don't know, I couldn't follow it too well. But again, that could just be me adjusting to the light. The palette was a little bit like muted, like it was like yellow and purple, which was neat. Like I really liked it, but
Are you
it was
talking about
just
the page that was introducing like the older?
no, not that one. No, the next one where it shows like all the flowers coming through. It showed the plane that he was fighting on with the Soul
Gotcha.
Eaters.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't tell like what he was fighting at first, like with all the tentacles, you know. And then it showed the lady Soul Eater,
Yeah.
and that was when it started to become a little bit more concise for me.
My favorite scene in that book has got to be when he's going into like the wizard bar. And
his drinking buddies,
Yeah,
that was such a good
he's with his
idea.
drinking buddies, and Dr. Voodoo's sitting there like, okay, so we got to get back to the real question here.
So you made
Made
out
out
with a
with
Soul
a
Eater. Like-
I really liked that too. It just shows more how like
He's got his own little world kind
right,
of thing.
like it shows what he does outside of
Exactly.
doing everything.
It was a little weird seeing on Scarlet Witch there.
Yeah, well, she's mystical, and a lot of people, because, like, especially now that she's been introduced in the movies, people forget, like, though she's a mutant, her mutant gene, her power is that she can perform hexes and
Yeah.
change reality.
It was just a bit odd to me, but I got it.
Yeah, well, I think they're going to make her a little bit more mystical in this incarnation.
I
of her.
could dig that.
Yeah, at first it threw me too seeing her there, but I liked it. I thought it'd be a good addition, especially the fact that like they're not going to be playing on her being as crazy anymore. She's just going to be a good guy. So like it'd be neat to see what she does with that. Because a lot of Scarlet Witch was just like, oh, I'm crazy. Oh, I'm not. Oh, I created a whole new dimension.
Oh, let's kill all the mutants.
Even recently, when she essentially deleted her bloodline.
Yeah.
So like anybody in her bloodline lost their powers. And that's how you found out that Magneto wasn't her dad anymore.
Yeah.
Stupid soap opera shit.
Like, do you think she's just 18 going, oh, what other crazy shit can I do to piss off my parents?
Yeah, that's kind of what you think of with her, no, but also schizophrenic.
Right.
But yeah, seeing Dr. Voodoo there was cool. I wonder how he feels about being downplayed from, because he used to be Sorcerer Supreme before they brought Doctor Strange back.
Yep.
So a little bit. What did you think about the crazy guy talking about the toll that it takes? Like, how he used to go home and drown rabbits
Yeah.
to pay the toll for.
That was
He's like, you paid your dues, Jack.
that was cool. It was pretty foreboding.
Yeah, I like that. And like, especially at the end when Doctor, because Doctor Strange writes him off, and then at the end he's like, "Is it too late to start drowning some bunnies?" So, and I think that even though, like I was saying, I was a little bit burnt out by the end of the day with the whole Playboy thing, I thought it was done the best in Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
And I think out of all the books that I read this week, Doctor Strange was my favorite.
I think so too.
Other than the other book, which I haven't purchased. I purchased the digital copy of it, but I haven't.
Paper
purchased.
Girls?
Yeah, I just. Read
Oh,
that.
dude, I was gonna say I forgot to leave that out for you guys to read.
I already read it.
So good, right? You want to
it's
take a
really
break
good.
from Marvel real quick? Have you read Paper Girls yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh man, I
That
almost
is
want to
probably
pause
my
this and
favorite.
read it. Brian K. Vaughan. You ever read anything by Brian K. Vaughan yet?
I'm sure I have.
You reading We Stand on Guard?
No.
Oh, Why the Last Man?
No.
Saga?
No.
Okay. And you probably haven't read anything from Brian K. Vaughan.
Darn.
But he's an amazing writer. My favorite, probably.
He didn't do anything for
He's-
Marvel?
Oh, he's done some stuff for Marvel. He's done
Yeah.
some stuff for DC too, but I don't know if it'd be anything that you read. I don't know if you were reading comics at that point. Because, you're still pretty new to the game.
Yeah.
You might be thinking of Brian Michael Bendis.
Probably.
But Brian K. Vaughan is the shit. But Paper Girls was awesome.
There's also a name that's similar to that was on the Runaways, their early runs.
That might have been
I
Brian
don't-
K. Vaughan.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. I never really read Runaways.
I read Runaways, but I don't think I paid attention to who actually wrote it.
Yeah, back then I didn't really care. I was like, oh, story time.
Yeah.
It's like soap operas. So it's like, I'm watching my stories. But Brian K. Vaughan, Paper Girls, coolest art I read all week. Coolest story I've read all week.
Mm-hmm.
I loved all the characters. Now I was a little disappointed by We Stand on Guard this week, so I was so pumped that Paper Girls came out.
I liked We Stand on Guard this week.
I
but-
liked it, but it wasn't as good as last week's issue.
Yeah.
Last week's issue with the whole torture thing, like that was going to be hard to top. So I can understand that I didn't care about it as much this week. I just felt like the characters were a little bit underplayed, other than those two.
Yeah.
But with Paper Girls, it's about. Have you ever seen Monster Squad?
I don't think so.
Have you seen Monster Squad? It's a lot like Monster Squad in the sense where it's the 80s movie, whereas in like Plutona was Breakfast Club and Stand By Me. This was more like Monster Squad and those edgier 80s kids movies where the kids were kind of like the bad kids almost.
Tougher.
Yeah, they're tougher. They're it's a little bit darker around the edges.
Oh, okay.
So like they're fighting, like they got into a fist fight with a bunch of boys. So the paper boys in this town are girls, and they're the edgy kids. Like so, the main one is getting talked to by the cops. You know, like watch yourself. She's smoking Camels.
Damn.
The palette is really muted because it takes place at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and it's also Halloween. Well, Devil's Night.
Yeah.
So like there's like the shitty mean kids running around town performing pranks, and then you have the paper girls out and about. So like with the palette being muted, it's like yellow and purple, kind of like how Doctor Strange was,
Right.
but more stylized in the sense like Black Canary.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so it was like right up my alley for the art style. And it's basically the kids running around trying to stick together with walkie-talkies and perform their duties as paper girls and not get hurt or, get in trouble. Mm-hmm. So they get into a fight with some of these like ruffians. And then also there's these people running around town. It looks like they're breaking into houses. And they steal one of the walkie-talkies from the kids.
Oh, shit.
And I'm not going to tell you what the threat is, but it might not be human.
The plot thickens.
Exactly. So it was really neat. Like I said, it really fits in with those 80s edgy kid shows. He nailed like the voice of being 12. Like he really, because like how you swear at each other, you call each other inappropriate names, you're not politically correct at all.
Hell no.
And then like you have the good kid who also just kind of wants to be part of the gang. So like she starts to kind of be like that too.
But it's very awkward.
Exactly, she's super awkward. Like when she swears, it's like
why did you
say that? Exactly.
Like nobody expects it. It was like me when I first swore.
Exactly. You're just doing it wrong. Like shitting shit, man, shit.
McFuckers.
Still say that. So that was the really impressive book. I don't want to say too much because I think you need to read it, and I want anyone listening to read it too because it was my favorite book this week.
I'll put it on my list.
Followed up by Plutona too. I thought that was neat. It shifted a lot. Like I was telling you, like it went from Breakfast Club to Stand By Me.
Yep.
And not just because they found a dead body, but like
but like the way they were talking about what they were going to do with it.
Exactly. And then it went a little bit more Breakfast Club towards the second half, where it juxtaposed all the different houses of the kids, so it showed that they were all from different economic backgrounds. Oh. So like you have the poor kid's house, who's kind of like the bad guy from Breakfast Club, like his dad's shitty. Yeah. His dad's smoking cigarettes and drinking beer until like 1 o'clock in the morning, then he passes out, and then the kid's smoking cigarettes and drinking beer. And it really, the conversations that they had in it, Jeff Lemire fucking nailed it. Again, it's like being that age again. How you talk amongst your friends with almost a logical sense that you can't as an adult because you experience more things, you get nostalgic. So like they find a dead body. What do you do when you find a dead body? Like, you call the police, right?
Right.
Yeah. Except for they found a superhero. So what do you do with that?
Shit.
You bury it. You tell your mom, your dad. You don't tell anybody.
Exactly. And this is the conversation that they have, and it was a creepy but logical way. It's how you would talk about it with your friends because they're like, oh shit, we should find help. And the one kid's like, no, we can get rich. Let's take pictures of it and put it on the internet. And then the other kid, the kid who watches the capes, like, no, guys, we can't tell anybody. Because if the bad guys know that the superhero's dead, they'll fucking tear apart the street. We won't be safe.
Mini Minotaur.
Mini Minotaur is a character, by the way. He's one of the heroes. Because he talks about all the other heroes, how they're useless. And he's like, and Mini Minotaur is just a tiny bull.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, you should totally be reading this book. It's really good. And like I said, it just brings me back to the age and how I thought. Because you don't have that. You have passion, but you have like almost like a coldness to you when you're a kid because you're detached a little bit. You haven't been through as much. So I thought that was really neat this week. Just maybe it's because I'm having a kid and I'm reliving some of my younger stuff, but those books were way more impressive to me than anything from DC or Marvel. The final Marvel book I want to talk about was Invincible Iron Man. Now, I was straight up in my review, and I talk about it with you guys a little bit. I was the least impressed with this book, but still fun. I still thought it was good.
Yeah, I liked it mainly because I haven't really read a whole lot of Iron Man books.
Oh, so then you're probably not as burnt out on it as me. You know what I mean? Like knowing that character.
I wasn't so much burned out on Iron Man books. I just haven't really liked them so much.
Well, Superior Iron Man...
huge fan of Iron Man.
Exactly. Superior Iron Man I thought I was going to like because I love Superior Spider-Man. And it's the same kind of idea. He had a different serum in him for the extremist virus, and it made him meaner, essentially. Huh. It made him cold, more logical... made him Spock, but like a douchebag. Like he was just kind of obsessed with success. Like he created an app to like cure people.
So if Spock was half Romulan instead of half
Instead of having Romulans are very close to their DNA, anyways, Dave.
I know, but they're more dickish.
Exactly. But the whole idea was that he was, just more obsessed with success. So, like, he creates an app that can cure this disease, but you have to pay for it, and it's really expensive. Kind of like the dude with the whole AIDS thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it was just like that. Whereas then with this one, he's cured of that, so he's nicer again. He found out his parents aren't his parents. He's adopted.
Yeah, I heard
and that's
about
supposed to be the emotional crux of it so far. They didn't do a good job of conveying like your feelings for that in number one, but it was one issue. It was to reintroduce Tony Stark, so I can understand that.
But like wasn't it more of just like, so I'm adopted, but I'm still me. I'm gonna do this.
Exactly, but again, what seems to happen a lot with Tony Stark in the comics, at least, is they seem like they don't know what they want to do with him a lot.
Yeah, in a way, I feel like they're gonna try to like change him to what we all kind of expected from the book.
I think so too.
The way they explained it was going to be, at least.
Yes, I think. Well, definitely. I like that's going to be gradual. I just felt in that first issue they didn't do enough to hook me with it. Because it's the same old thing. It starts out him saying, "Hey, I'm going to create this new suit." They don't explain the science because Tony Stark doesn't need to explain the science. He knows it.
He's Tony Stark.
Exactly. They talk about like they have a couple of funny lines about how a kid at MIT reverse engineered the Iron Man suit, so he had to. That. Yeah, so he had to create a new one essentially. And so that was neat.
Then in like. Underneath it, just asshole.
Yeah. So, like, it was still fun. It was really good dialogue. The art was good, but uninspired. But it's not the artist's fault, I don't think. I think it was just, like, they didn't have a lot to do. It was just kind of Tony Stark standing around for 20 pages. Yeah. Even at the end, when, like, he was, like, called into action, he was like, all right, gotta do something. He shows up. Dudes with guns are just pointing at him, and then there's a twist, and the bad guy shows up. You're like, okay, all right. So speaking of which, big spoilers for Secret Wars and big spoilers for Invincible Iron Man. All right, you've been warned. At the end of Invincible Iron Man, fucking the ruler of Latvia returns. Dr. Doom just comes back, no longer scarred. Yep. He looks like Harry Osborn now.
Oh,
not Harry Osborn, but Norman Osborn.
I totally forgot about that scene.
Yeah, which was the only interesting part to me through the whole book.
A lot like Norman Osborn too.
Yo, definitely. I like how he's just like the suit and everything, which. Norman Osborn and Dr. Doom, well, Dr. Doom is a little bit more menacing, a little bit smarter than Norman Osborn. Yeah. But they are similar characters.
They are.
Norman Doom?
That'd be interesting. That's kind of like how he was
Dr. Goblin.
When he was during Secret Invasion. That's kind of how he was a little bit. But I mean, like I said, I still liked it. It just seemed like there wasn't a lot to read. Like, not a lot happened.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see what
they had the seeds
Doom
there.
Thing.
It wasn't like the hook didn't come to the last page, which I'm fine with. It just wasn't Iron Man. Like
it's just like they got the seed there, but they just haven't watered it enough. And
that's how I felt about it. So I'm still gonna read it. I'm gonna read next month's issue, and hopefully they just pick up the pace a little bit.
You're just kind of sitting there over the seed, going, "So apples?"
Exactly. It was more again. I feel like the Playboy thing was burned out because I read Amazing Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. Right. It was just that the all new, all different Strange and Spidey did such a good job of reintroducing those characters and setting the pace that Invincible Iron Man just felt like it was slugging behind.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, like how I said with Iron Man, I haven't always been the biggest fan of like Iron Man comic books,
right?
But I love Iron Man tied into other books.
Oh, that's when he's always such a good character when he's like that.
It's just because his character interaction is so perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of like how I feel with Superman.
Yeah,
like I've never really had an interest in reading any comics that were just him, but I mean, if he's tied into something, I'm like, sure, why the hell not?
Right. The difference between Iron Man and Superman, though, is Superman's books are consistently good. Whereas in Iron Man books seem to falter in and out.
Oh, yeah.
I can understand like the interest not being there for Superman. I'm not going to tell you have to like Superman. But in an opinion of someone who likes... Thank you. Jordan's shaking his head menacingly.
I am really interested in All-Star Superman, though. I do want to read that.
Oh, dude, you should totally read. You can use my copy. All-Star Superman is amazing. And if you don't like the book, watch the movie. It's also really good.
Yeah, what the hell were we watching the other... It was the Justice League thing.
Like the Adventures of Superman, also an amazing show.
No, it was that Justice League movie, the Gods and
Monsters.
Yeah, the trailer that was like before that or something was like
for All-Star Superman.
Yeah, the animated thing, which I never even knew existed. I was like,
I thought I told you about that. Yeah, totally. It's really, really good. Read the comic first. I think the comic's way better.
Yeah,
it goes a little bit more in depth with a lot of those characters, but the movie is also really, really good. Superman's a good character, and like you were saying with Iron Man, the problem I have with a lot of people have with those characters is they're so smart and so powerful. It's a lot of times it's like, how can they be failing right now?
Yeah.
And that's a lot of the part about buying it. The problem with Tony a lot of time isn't him, it's his emotional weight,
Yeah.
which is either done really well or really poorly. Like Demon in the Bottle, done super, super well. Superior Iron Man, not as well. So it really depends. So if they pick up the pace a little bit like that, I'm going to enjoy it. You guys read Contest of Champions? Did you like that?
Yeah,
I really
read
liked
that.
it.
That was neat.
It was really cool. It was not. I mean, there's not much you can really expect from it.
It's
Not really.
it's essentially Fight Club, right?
Yeah.
Like they're going to be duking it out issue to issue.
And it was a way for Marvel to show what's going on with many characters at one
Cool.
time. Like
I like that.
Introducing you to
Rather than buy the $6.99
Yeah.
1 point or Marvel .0, .1.
Point one.
Point one.
Shoot, my bad. I was talking about point one.
No, not Contest of Champions.
No, I didn't actually pick that up. But it was like a prelude to Contest of Champions.
You're welcome.
How come I don't get another drink?
Because Jordan bought the Mountain Dew.
Jordan, may I have another drink?
You may have another drink.
Terry, another
But,
ale.
yeah, one thing I really liked about it, which was probably my favorite thing with the Contest of Champions, is how they're pulling the people out.
How are they doing it? Are they folding them out like Metal Gear Solid?
No, not exactly. I mean,
That would be sweet.
they basically have people come in saying like, "Oh, like you're needed for." I don't remember the
Like, hey, help
terminology.
me save this like mission or whatever, and
Like they don't really explain a whole lot, but they're like, "Hey, we're taking you," and they take them, and they're like, "I don't know what's going on." Like, who is it? They take shoot,
who's taking them? I know it's Maestro, but how is he doing it?
it's Maestro and I can't remember. It's
I can't remember the name of the guy that was with him.
Is it somebody from the Illuminati?
possibly
Okay, we'll come back to it though.
yeah.
But so they're essentially they're just doing them. They're not like giving them a reason to like, hey,
Was it the Collector?
the Collector is part of it.
oh, that's
He's
kind of
working-
cool.
Yeah, because like, did you get point one?
I did. I didn't read it.
I liked it. I enjoyed it. Like I said, it was a good way for them to like introduce me to characters and what's going on with them.
Right.
And like it did make me interested in Contest of Champions.
See, it wasn't that I didn't want to read it. It was just I had so many books to read this week.
Because all it was Maestro talking to the Collector about possible prospects for this team he's building.
Oh, is he building a team or is he building a fight ring?
No,
It's
it's
a
a
fight
team
ring,
for the
basically.
fight ring.
Oh, so it's teams versus each other.
Yeah.
Not one-on-one fights. That's interesting.
Well, that's what it seemed like.
Ah, okay. So maybe. So do you think maybe it's not Maestro necessarily starting a fight club as much as entering this team in like maybe an intergalactic or interdimensional fight club?
Yeah, that's what it seems like. It seems like he's taking part in it, and he's not in charge of it.
Ah, so almost like the World Tournament and Dragon Ball Z,
Kinda
like the Kai's tournament.
Yeah, like it seems like there's gonna have the through line of all the fights and everything, and like that probably won't last a whole long.
No, but now I'm a little bit more interested in that book.
But
I'll
but
check
then
it
it's gonna
out.
have like the through line of him and the other competitors that are like entering these teams.
I like that. I like bringing Maestro into the main universe as well.
Yeah, so in Contest of Champions, that book, the first person that they bring into the
Excuse me.
to like start the fighting is Outlaw, which is the British Punisher.
Oh, okay,
So they
okay.
bring
Now I know
him
you're talking.
up
I was
there
like, who the
and
fuck's
he-
Outlaw?
He doesn't know like what's going on there. He sees like a dinosaur pass by. He's like, okay, like is this like the Amazon? Am I in the Amazon? And
or like the what's that zone in the Antarctica that
the Savage
Savage
Lands?
Zone. Yeah, Savage Lands,
yeah. And he doesn't know exactly, and then he sees some other fighting going on, and he hears somebody calling for help, and it's Iron Man. And then he's like, "Oh,
Cool.
Iron Man's like, oh, I thought this was Gamora that was gonna come over here." And Gamora's off fighting the dinosaur, and
So they're just kind of putting them in there, testing like who's going to be for the team, kind of thing.
yeah, exactly. That's how it started, and then when it ended, they're like, "Okay, well, you guys won the first battle." Blah, blah,
I
blah.
wonder if it's going to be a kind of thing like Maestro, like bet like their world kind of thing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I wonder if there's some sort of stakes where you're going to root for him because Maestro's a hard character to root for.
My favorite part of point one was when he's thinking about possibly like picking out Venom.
Yeah, okay,
And-
that's why I thought he was joining the team.
And then,
right?
then he's like, like I don't think Venom's gonna work for me. Maybe someone a bit crazier. Then it goes to Carnage, and he's like,
too crazy.
nah, I'm a hard pass that one.
What about Toxin?
Who's Toxin?
Toxin is where Eddie is now. Eddie was Anti-Venom, now he's Toxin.
Oh.
But Toxin was originally the grandson of Venom.
Oh, okay.
So Venom spawned Carnage, Carnage spawned Toxin. But Toxin was a good guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because he fused with Pete at one point. And got a lot of like heroic stuff from him. So he was good for a long time. But then he died, and then Eddie fused with that symbiote, so now he's currently Toxin. I don't think he's Anti-Venom anymore.
Okay, so we've been talking about comics for about 40 minutes.
I know. That's I was going to reference. That's why as soon as you guys done talk Contest of Champions.
I
want to talk about Battlefront real quick.
I was just going to bring that up.
This might be an extra long episode. This might go a little bit longer because we have a lot to cover this week.
What do they call those really long comic books?
Oversize?
Yeah.
So it's going to be... Oversized
number
Cage
one.
Trolls podcast number 1. This is the annual. So
number 0.
No, exactly. So Battlefront. You guys got to play it a lot more than me because I had to work. I got to play it for one day, but
I was
Dave
actually
played the most.
really surprised at how much enjoyment I got out of it.
Weren't you a little bit skeptical? Didn't you think you might not like it?
I was definitely skeptical at the beginning because I had never really got into the Battlefield games.
Right.
And I was never.
But this is Battlefront.
Yeah, that's where it got me. Because it was Star Wars. There was no ammo, which was really weird.
I love that.
But it made complete sense to me.
I like the cooldown thing, how it's just like Gears of War. Like you hit it at the right time, and then it'll cool down faster.
My only real complaint with it right now is the power-ups.
You didn't like the power-ups?
Oh, I like them.
Oh, okay.
They're just...
Random as fuck?
They're not around enough.
I think that might have been just like you not seeing them because they're blue.
But they're very translucent blue.
Yeah, I think that's on purpose, so you don't just have people rushing them all together.
Yeah.
Because I got them a lot. Like at least 2 or 3 every game.
I got them very sparingly.
I didn't get the hero one very often.
I got it once.
I think I was only Luke or Vader a couple times, but...
See, I, in a way, agree with Dave in a different way. I think it should be done differently how you get the power-ups.
Almost like perks?
Exactly.
That's kind of how I felt about it as
and
well.
you should earn your power-ups.
That's kind of how I felt
That's
about
how
it.
it was in Battlefront before. You would get the hero after you
did so well. Exactly. Like Call of Duty, how it has like the... Not perks, but like the... Yeah, it's perks, right?
Kill streak
rewards. Exactly. That's how I felt as well.
The one I really dislike is how the vehicle power-ups work. Like how the vehicles are just power-ups.
Power-ups?
Like
I didn't like that either.
Because, I got to fly a TIE Fighter once.
Exactly.
And that
Same
was
here.
for a minute at the end of the
Because you blew up because you didn't know how to play it. I thought that should be a little bit more like Battlefield.
Yeah.
Where you can just run and get into, a ship.
I would have liked
spawn.
to just get in a freaking TIE Fighter and fly around and blow up some rebels.
Exactly. So, like the heroes I thought were good, but...
I was only a hero once, and when I was a hero, I died instantly because there were vehicles shooting at me the entire time.
So I can understand the heroes not being a kill streak reward because you're kind of overpowered as them.
Yeah.
Right.
So
if you're already doing good, why do they want to make you better?
Exactly. So I can understand that point, but the vehicles was a little annoying. Like you said, I got to get into a vehicle like once. Now, the other power-ups I got all the time. The shields, the thermal detonator, the imploder was awesome.
Oh, yeah, that was sweet. And as the Rebels, did you ever find like a snowspeeder power-up?
No, is that a thing?
I thought so. If you're doing Walker
Well,
Assault.
no, that's not true. Maybe it wasn't. I don't think it was a snow speeder. It was the other vehicle.
X-wing.
No. Oh, so I did get the snow speeder then. I got the snow speeder twice. I never got an X-wing.
All right.
So I did get those twice. They were really fast, but their weaponry wasn't that good.
Oh yeah, because their blasters can't get through that armor, Terry.
Exactly. But I didn't know how to do the grappling hook thing.
Right. Well, you need a second person in the back of the ship.
Which you don't have,
right?
So so that part annoyed me a little bit, but other than that, I had a lot of fun with it. Did you play first person or third person?
First, I tried
we
third.
Did both back and forth.
I didn't like third very much in this. I thought first felt really natural.
Yeah,
because it's made by Battlefield, made by Dice, So
third was a little disoriented.
Yeah, a little bit.
I mean, I haven't played a third-person game in a long time.
Yeah, not since. Well, I've played lots of third-person shooters, but not since Battlefront. That kind of game.
Yeah.
Exactly. I haven't played.
I played a little bit. You mean Gears of War would probably be the most recent one. Maybe Uncharted. I played a lot of the Uncharted multiplayer, which is third person shooter.
It's a different gameplay.
It is. It really is though.
And it's really weird for me because I prefer third person shooter.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
to me, I like both, but third person shooters are usually a little bit more up my alley. But the first person in this was really well because it's done by Dice.
I felt way more immersed.
If I'm going to play a first person shooter, I'll play Battlefield. I think they're top notch. It sucks when their servers don't work and you don't get to play the game ever. But Jordan, are you going to drink that?
I just opened it. Yeah.
Okay, never mind. I'm gonna go get another one soon. I'm crashing.
Okay.
I think I have mono because I slept like 13 hours today, and I'm like, I'm so tired.
So what you're saying is you want to make out?
Yeah, exactly.
I slept like 3, and I'm just
fine.
rolling.
Well, I came home this morning and I realized it was the last day for the beta, and I hadn't played it yet, so I just stayed up and played Battlefield.
Yeah.
So other than the power-ups, I thought it handled really well. Especially the Walker level, when you go into the Rebel base and people are shooting into it, all the sparks flying everywhere.
Yeah.
That was such a cool effect, and I thought they did that really, really well.
Yeah, the effects of the blaster fire, it felt like there was a friggin' war zone.
Yeah, it did a really good job. And that's what I really liked about Battlefield games, because even though there weren't as many people as there are in Battlefront, this is 20 on 20 matches, mind you. I think for the beta, was it just 10 on 10? Or was it 20 on 20?
It was however many you had, I think.
Well, yeah, it balances out, but like the drop zone was 8 on 8 matched.
Right.
I think the Walker was 20 on 20, but I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me.
I don't know either.
It was a lot of people, though, and it did a good job of conveying it was a lot of lot of people. So it felt like you were in the war zone, like in the trenches area of the level. You had to be in the trench. If you weren't in the trench, you were dead.
Yeah, you're done.
Because people could see you and fire their blaster at you.
I was in the trench.
You ain't going nowhere.
So.
Well, that too, but I mean, like if you weren't ducking down and running through the
yeah.
trenches, you were done. I thought that was so neat.
I do have one problem with the way the battle happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like the spawning.
Oh, the spawning was terrible, wasn't it?
That, and I mean, like it never really with the Battlefront games.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could see on the map where your troops were. Like it was like
where to spawn in, right?
It was like an actual conflict, like one side against the other. This, it was just a confuckery of running around and shooting everything.
And like I said, like you were saying with the map, you really couldn't tell where you were going to spawn.
There was no idea of where I was on the map.
Exactly, or who was controlling what area.
Yeah.
For a little while, they had a thing. I don't know why I didn't see it later either, but like on the spawn page, it would say like spawn near
that happened if you were doing well enough and your ally was alive long enough.
Yeah.
You could spawn at partner, which you press
That's what it
triangle, which I thought the partner mechanic was cool, so you could team up with somebody, because in the normal game you'll be able to select your partner.
Yeah.
So if we go in together, you can use my loadout, I can use your loadout, we can spawn on each other.
Right.
And it's almost how the squad works in Battlefield, which is a very similar tactic, except for you couldn't share loadouts. So I thought that was neat. Did you guys try different loadouts? I mainly stuck with the blaster and the cycler rifle.
Yeah, I went with the sniper rifle most of the time, and
I thought that was cool.
switched between the blaster pistol and whatever rifle was.
See, I never got to use the blaster pistol. I just used the main blaster. I used the jump pack in drop zone.
I liked the heavy blaster a lot more than
the normal. The heavy blaster is like the Gatling gun firearm, right?
It's like the heavy machine gun.
Yeah, I never got to use that. Was it good?
Yeah, he used it once. I didn't really get to use it.
Yeah. You guys play Drop Zone as well, right?
Yeah.
What'd you think of that as the capture? I thought
that was fun.
I think that was the best gameplay. That's what I'm probably gonna play the most, honestly, because like in Battlefield, I love the big battles, but I mostly played the smaller one, the small team fights. You know, in the levels, it was kind of like Call of Duty style.
I love the feeling of that map.
Yeah,
the environment in that was
it felt very
awesome.
Star Wars. You had the steam pits that if you fell into, you died. The dropping the escape capsules was really neat. If you had the jump pack, you felt like a stormtrooper, you know, like jumping over.
Yeah, and like just the geography of it, like it was so well constructed. Like there were places to hide everywhere.
Exactly, and you didn't always, even if you're on the high ground, you didn't necessarily always feel like you had the high ground.
No, they would jump your ass.
They would jump
second.
you. I thought that was really neat. I did find myself really falling into a groove there. Like I had the heavy blaster, the jump pack, and the thermal detonator. Or the ion, you know, not the ion one, but like using one of those power ups, because the cycler rifle you couldn't get a shot off in that area. Really,
right.
I only got killed by a cycler rifle one or twice out of like 30 matches, because you're moving around so much on that map. You're not standing still. You're not in a trench. You're trying to dodge around corners and get to the next pod.
I did the cycle rifle a lot when I was like going to go after a pod and the Empire already had it. And
they were
I'm
already
just
like,
sitting there in the rocks going, "Hey, buddy, how's it
I
going?"
did notice that a couple of times. You know, trying to like get them away from it.
Yeah.
But overall, that sold me on the game. Honestly, I think that was a really good beta.
Yeah, I was.
And all the things I have problems with, I think they're probably going to fix, because I know they have numbers.
And honestly, my favorite part of it was the survival rounds that you could do against AI.
Yeah, the missions.
Yeah,
I didn't get to play those too much. I did watch a lot of that gameplay though.
It was really fun. Me and Jordan did it.
Mm-hmm.
And the only problem was the only difficulty that was available was normal, which was way too easy.
Way too easy. That's what I thought.
And it was just like a six
rounds.
Okay.
Rounds of...
How did you feel? Did you play it solo at all?
Yes.
How did you feel about playing it solo?
No, we didn't play it solo.
Okay. Because it's 1 or 2 players, right?
Yeah.
Could you guys play together? Was it split screen?
Yeah.
Yes, was
Oh, I see.
Local split screen.
I
on
didn't know that was a thing.
and that's probably the only thing that can do local split.
yeah,
split
'cause
screen.
even Halo doesn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
You guys buying Halo 5?
Meh.
Nah.
It's-
You buy Halo 5?
It's on an Xbox One, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I
You
mean,
would buy
like,
it before I would, so
probably. I'm gonna buy it if I can get enough people to play it. Like if I can get my old team together.
I would play it. But
Everybody I used to play with is playing Destiny now, so. But I'm excited for it. The gameplay looks really neat. It's up my alley. They've really tournamentized Halo, so it's like League or Rocket League. You know, those games where you get a team together and you go rank up. You know, that's how they've done the combat now. So
All right.
that's a little bit more up my alley. So like the competitiveness of it, really. I don't know. Now there's not local split screen. There's less of an incentive for me to buy it.
I mean, I'm dead set on a PS4, and
If you get a PS4, we can totally play Battlefront together.
yeah, that's why. That's why.
So when does Battlefront come out? December?
I thought it was November something.
I think.
So they did the beta this close to it coming out.
Yeah.
Maybe they won't fix stuff.
Either that or they
Shoot.
might, put it out later.
Later, I don't know. Who knows?
Because I thought it was supposed to be about a month before the release of the
Maybe
movie.
that just seems so close.
Yeah, I
you know
think
what
it
I
was
mean?
November 17th.
'Cause games usually go gold like 30 days before they launch. So that would be going gold now and have to ship. So who knows? Who knows? I'm excited for it either way.
Yeah.
I think it's fun. I'm a little disappointed there's not a Galactic Conquest or story mode.
Yeah.
But if the multiplayer is as good as it is, I mean, I never played the story in Battlefield.
Because Galactic Conquest was why I went on a search for Battlefront 2.
Exactly.
Because it was so much fun, and I had to have that game again.
And I was, impressed because the heroes really ruined Battlefront 2 for me. I didn't like the heroes in 2, but I liked them in this.
Yeah.
I thought they were done a little bit better. They
Like-
weren't overpowered. I
Yeah,
felt like I could
but
kill
you were
heroes.
also
Yeah.
scared shitless when Darth Vader came on the
Exactly. They did a good job of balancing that. Like,
Yeah.
my favorite part was because I hadn't been a hero yet, and I finally got it. I was like, oh, I think I'm probably just going to die right away. And a guy ran up to me, and he kept missing because I was using the block mechanic. And then he came too close, and I used the force choke,
Yep.
and then slashed him. I was like, that was the coolest thing I've done all day. Like, that was awesome. It doesn't take much. I work in an office building, but it was still really neat.
Because like what happened with me was I was on Hoth just running around trying to find some Empire guys to kill, and then all of a sudden I just hear, and I'm like, oh shit.
So that's like usually what would happen is it'd be everybody running and trying to cap them before they could jump to you. You
Yeah.
know? If you were fighting a good person,
And
like being a hero.
God, the hero jump was so ridiculous.
Yeah, and it didn't feel too far. Like in 2, I felt like you could fly.
What was it? In Battlefront 2, it was like quintuple jumping.
It was so far.
Plus, you could jump to the side
So-
too in midair.
Exactly.
Change your trajectory altogether.
Yeah, which is something that Jedi's can do. But it was still- Trigger. But so we'll end on Battlefront a little bit there. It was good.
It was classic. Solid gold funk.
It's all go funk. Back to a little bit more comic books. What we talked about what we read and liked last week. What are you guys excited for this week?
This week, I'm probably just going to go on.
Chewbacca number 1, Dave.
Chewbacca number 1.
I was going to say that.
That was pretty good.
I was going to start out with the Spider Kids that I want to read.
No, wrong. Chewbacca number 1.
Spider Gwen, 2099.
Oh, I'm gonna buy those too, but Chewbacca,
Chewbacca.
number 1.
Can we get?
They're not kids, Dave. They're preteens. Spider preteens.
Yeah, how old's Spider Gwen? She's like 20, isn't she? No, she's in
I
high
don't know how
school.
old they
She's in
are.
high school, right?
I'm just saying kids because they're part of the Spider family, and Peter Parker, being the first Spider-Man, is technically the father.
Ah, but that's so weird because he used to fuck Spider Gwen.
Who's your daddy?
Symbolically, you
Like Miles
weirdo.
Morales makes
Daddy's
sense. He's
home.
like he's like 14. But wait, Miles is 14, right? Or are they making him younger?
Can 14-year-olds fit cheeseburgers in their pocket?
I don't know, but that's still my favorite moment of Secret Wars so
That
far.
was awesome.
Although, again, spoilers for Secret Wars. We forgot to mention Secret Wars number 6. Black Panther with the fucking
Oh,
gauntlet.
yes.
Was that not awesome?
That was sick.
Black Panther, the most powerful being in the universe.
Yep.
That makes me think about when Black Panther had Silver Surfer and
Yeah.
Unlock.
Also, he could keep up swimming with Namor. Like, what the fuck? He swam the entire... Because they talk about how the ocean was like 9 times bigger than all of our oceans combined. Because it's like 9 seas. And like, they did it like just fine. Like the
They
whole
got
time.
like 7 Atlantic Oceans.
Yeah. And T'Challa's just like kept up with Namor, the king of Atlantis. But
Right.
whatever. I thought that was neat. So he was pretty much already powerful, and then get the fucking cosmic gauntlet. or not the Cosmic Gauntlet. What's it called?
Infinity
Gauntlet. Thank you.
You know, that whole thing that the Marvel movies are going to lead up to?
Okay, I was just watching Adventure Time, and they talk about Cosmic Gauntlets. No,
Okay,
man,
that was awesome.
I love like he's got the Cosmic Gauntlet. He's like, no, man, there's a better one right over there.
No, man, the big one.
It's just standing there and it's giant.
It's got a freaking eye in its palm.
But I'm excited for the Avengers books. I don't know if I'm going to buy Uncanny. I'm a little burnt out on X-Men, and I feel like Marvel did that on purpose. Like I think they did that to me, just because like it's not tied into anything as well. They killed off Wolverine. Deadpool is cool. X-23 has her own book, so I'm going to get my X-Men fix there.
The whole thing that turned me off on X-Men was I read the wiki of Havoc's story.
Don't ever read the wiki on X-Men, Dave. That's like trying to read the wiki on the Clone Saga. You just don't do it.
Nope. You just read the Clone Saga.
You have to go through it like the rest of us did, week by week, and be completely stumped at what's going on. And by week, I mean like I read it when I was like 9 and just bought a collection, but still.
Or it just took you that long to read.
Jesus Christ. So many tie-ins, none of them make sense. Peter Parker's Spider-Man, then he's not Spider-Man, then he's Spider-Man
That
again.
pissed me off so much when they said that Peter Parker wasn't the actual Spider-Man and then Ben Reilly was actually Peter Parker.
Yeah,
I was so confused.
And then they flip it again.
Exactly.
As soon as you come to terms with it.
It's like, okay, I'm okay now. I get it. It's
That's kind of like how I felt with the Onslaught with the clone of Magneto.
oh yeah.
What the fuck's going on there? And he also like at some point I think they mentioned he had like Xavier's like DNA somewhere in him too.
Man, if only we could have got like Paul Harvey to explain the Clone Saga.
The rest of the story.
Yes.
The rest of the story, Clone Saga. I'm gonna do that. Please don't steal this idea, or if you do it better than me, that's fine. But I think that's gonna be. I'm gonna put out a rest of the story. I'm gonna practice my Paul Harvey impression, and I'm gonna do the rest of the story, Clone Wars. I think that's a good idea.
Or Garrison Keeler. That'd be great.
I can't do Garrison Keeler. I can't do that voice, but that's really good. Excuse our really old radio talk. Me and Dave are 75. So
Have older parents.
yeah, exactly. So I'm excited for the Spider books as well. Spider-Gwen definitely.
Yes.
I thought it was going to be like a rehash, kind of like how they were doing Miracle Man. They were doing the older issues again, but it's not. It's just 1 through 5 was the first volume. This is technically Spider-Gwen Volume 2, number 1.
Because of the
That's
backups.
what they're doing with like everything. It's
I know.
Volume 4, number 1.
Like, Jesus Christ! Like Volume 3 just came out a few months ago.
Because of the backups in Amazing Spider-Man, I'm really interested in Silk.
Oh, I have the collection of the first Silk books.
And what's going on with like the whole Black Cat thing?
What's the whole thing going on with Black Cat?
Like she was like stealing some stuff from Parker.
Okay,
Industries.
no, I knew that, but
Yeah.
that tied into Say Johnny. Remember Amazing Spider? Like he talks to Say Johnny, saying that.
The boss that she brings her stuff back to is Black Cat.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
they're like they mentioned that in the main book that she's working with her. What does that have to do with Silk though? Is she working with
She's
them?
the one who stole it for Black Cat.
Ah, okay.
That was the
But
back
but
book.
what I'm saying is like they were working for Say Johnny.
Okay.
That's what. Remember Pete corners her at the wedding.
Yeah.
And was like, look,
calls her out on it.
yeah, I know what you're doing with Black Cat. I heard what you said. But I'm interested in Silk because Pete seems to work with her because she's another spider ally, but also she's like Black Cat and she's like a thief.
Like we said earlier, like every time we see a cover art with her, she's robbing a bank.
Exactly. How does she get her powers?
I have no idea.
Is it from Spider Island? Because that was the first time I saw her was Spider Island.
I think that was how she got her powers.
Interesting. I mean, I'll look into it. There's just too many Spider books.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with it too. They're my favorite characters. So Miles,
there's
young
so
Spidey.
much humor that comes with it that I'm okay with it.
It gets so silly. I'm excited to see the dynamic between Miles and Peter kind of be like Hawkeye. I know you guys haven't read it, but how the two Hawkeyes exist. There's Kate Bishop and then there's Clint Barton, and they both are called Hawkeye. And
Katie.
It's a fun dynamic.
You know, it'd be really fun
What's that?
if Deadpool got the spider virus and became part of the spider family.
God, I think Pete might kill himself.
He
if that
would
happened.
then build a spider cave.
It's bad enough that he's an Avenger now.
But he's the first one that mentioned the Spider-Mobile, too.
I know he created it essentially. I want to see him talk about that, like how he talked about the Spider
If
Cave
I
and the
buy
Spider
you a
Mobile.
spider cave, can we go
Can
to
we go to it? Can I be your sidekick? So what else is coming out this week? A-Force. I'm super excited for A-Force.
Oh, yeah.
My wife just creepily leaned into the room and waved. A-Force definitely. Is it going to be the same lineup as Secret Wars, or is it going to be different characters in it? A-Force is the all-female of
Yeah,
a team.
I've got the number 1 of the Secret Wars, but I didn't really want to buy the rest of it.
No? Was it good?
It was all right.
I like
Just-
She-Hulk. She-Hulk's on a team. I'm going to read it.
The main reason I bought it is because Nico Minoru was in it, and she's from the Runaways.
Right. I don't like her. But
She's not my favorite, but I support the
She
Runaways.
bores
and
me.
everything
uh,
they're in. Now, if it was Gertrude Yorks, I'd totally be into that.
I don't know who that is, but okay. More Runaways talk. Get the fuck out of here. What else is coming out this week, guys? That you're excited for, at least.
I mean, the continuation of Starfire, so I'm excited for that.
Superman, Lois, and Clark.
Yeah.
Chewbacca, what a Wookiee.
Chewbacca #1 is the first Star Wars book I'm going to buy since this launch.
I
Right?
bought all of them.
Have you?
Yeah,
I think I'm going to like them. I don't think they're going to be bad. It's just there's too many.
Yeah, and like
Buy the
on top of what
volumes.
we're already buying.
Exactly. I can't buy both.
just buy the volumes and
That's what I
save
think I'm
the
going to
money.
do. Welcome Back is a book from Boom I've been reading. It's like Highlander meets Sense8, the new Netflix show.
All right.
It's they're reincarnated and they're fighting a war, and there's different factions and there's different levels. Like you have the warriors, you have the soldiers, you have the grunts.
Okay.
And the first issue was really cool. It's from Boom.
Now, I've been seeing a lot of things about, what was it called? Lumberjanes?
Lumberjanes is really good. There's a spinoff coming out this week. Lumberjanes Beyond Leaf Village. I think is what it's called.
What is that about?
It's about lumberjacks, but they're women.
Oh, okay.
Think Adventure Time, art style and tone wise. It's really fun. It does a really good job of characterizing.
Neat.
It's worth checking out. Actually, a lot of people read it. It's really put Boom Studios on a bigger
what
map.
number are they at?
Ooh, like 17.
Mm.
So they're a little bit far into it, but
I can probably pick up a couple collections, catch up.
Yeah, you definitely could. Or you could start with this new spinoff too.
All right, yeah.
Solid.
Shut up, Beaker.
Boom Studios is the ones that does the Adventure Time and the regular show stuff too.
Right.
Archie's not coming out with anything big this week. There's Jughead and Archie Double Digest, the older style, but not anything from their new line yet.
Okay, so regular show movie.
Yeah. Did you see it yet?
No, but we should.
We should totally see
We
it.
should also catch up on regular show.
Oh,
because
definitely. Did you hear the rumors about how the guy who writes Adventure Time's writing a movie right now?
No.
Yeah. It's rumors.
I
it's
did
all
hear
speculation.
rumor a couple months back about Warner
yeah.
Brothers wanting a movie.
Well, apparently that's what he's been working on.
Sweet.
Yeah. So that's exciting.
We're
I love
children.
Adventure
We
Time.
watch animated
Oh,
shows.
fuck yeah. But they're all really, really good.
And one of us is married.
Fuck you. I also have a child on the way.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we're
Two of
adults.
us could have been married, but we fixed that.
Fist bump.
Captain
what's
America Sam Wilson's coming out.
Sam Wilson. I love that you're excited for this book because you've constantly told me that you don't like him as Captain America,
Not
and
that
that's
I don't-
racist.
Not that I don't like him as Captain America. I'm just not like a major Sam Wilson fan. I still like
okay.
him.
Do you like him better now that he's Captain America? Because I found him more interesting now that he's Cap.
Yeah.
What about Captain South America?
That's racist.
My whole thing is I've like, especially with the movies right now, I would really prefer at least to see for a little while have
Bucky come back.
Bucky be Captain America.
Bucky had his thing. He was already Captain America for a while, and it was a good run. But I mean, like,
No, I'm just saying like for the movies.
oh, for the movies. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, no, definitely. I think he'll be Cap before Sam Wilson is in the movies.
Yeah.
If anybody will take that up, you know what I mean? Because they're kind of trying to build up as many characters as possible. If they made another character Cap, and consolidated, they'd be down with
Yeah.
another hero.
Mhm.
You know?
I
'Cause,
think
mean,
what
they
might
could still have a little while for him to be like the Winter Soldier still. just
Exactly.
Bucky.
I think what might happen is Winter Soldier will become Cap, but then something will happen and everyone won't trust him, so they'll demote him and get rid of him. And then Sam Wilson.
Well, the only one who actually trusts him is Nick Fury.
Right.
Yeah.
Throughout the entire time he's
The-
Captain America.
The only thing is like I was saying, they don't have enough heroes to consolidate one.
Yeah.
That's attrition right there. They'd just be losing heroes. I don't see them doing that too quick. And it's the same thing with the rumor of the Inhumans. I don't see them canceling that
Yeah.
that thing. I think that's all bullshit. I think that's just people trying to start drama.
Like, I seriously see this whole Inhumans thing tying in with the Civil War movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so yes,
Mainly in the point of them needing more heroes to have
exactly
the battle.
Yes, okay, that I agree with. I thought you were saying like they're going to start seeding like the Inhumans, like the royal family.
Well, I can also see what's going on in the show
Yes.
Definitely affecting.
But do you think
Civil War.
when do you think they're going to introduce Medusa or Black Bolt?
Oh, I have no friggin' idea.
Because I feel like it's got to be down the line. They have so many movies lined up. I mean, Black Panther's going to first appear in Civil War soon.
Super excited for that.
Me too. I'm so pumped for that. Miss Marvel got pushed back. Well, so let's talk about that a little bit. They just announced 4 more movies.
Woo!
Fucking Marvel.
As if we didn't have enough.
Everybody gets so mad and they all think that the bubble's going to burst, but I'm so excited.
So, when does Phase 3 end?
It doesn't.
Is it-
Phase 3 is the rest of time.
Because I know they got movies slotted to at least 2020.
2020 is when they pushed back Miss Marvel too. So Miss Marvel and Inhumans 2020.
Boom.
So the 3 unannounced movies. You guys want to wildly speculate? I have 2 theories. I want to hear yours first, though. Also, but first, before we mention Ant-Man and the Wasp, are you fucking pumped for that?
Yes.
I love how Marvel. Like, I was really weird. I was like, Marvel's either going to go, okay, Ant-Man was good. He's just going to be a tertiary character
Yeah.
because it was only okay.
Another guy to throw in Civil War.
Exactly. But now it's like, oh, that did really good Guardians of the Galaxy style fucking sequel, and toss Wasp in there.
Hell yeah.
I mean, it sucks that they pushed back Miss Marvel, her being the first, female hero, and that Wasp was second fiddle to Ant-Man. But it's still neat that she's in it. I'm not going to give them, huge, feminism credits.
Yeah, I hope it's more partner than sidekick.
Definitely.
Because, I mean, she is the one who taught him.
Yeah, I was going to say, number 1, Wasp is way more capable, has way more powers, and is kind of a more interesting character.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that at a different time. But so wildly speculate. I want to hear your theories first, but I have 2 ones I think are good that are probably impossible, though.
I haven't really thought a whole lot about it.
Oh,
I mean,
that's all I've thought about.
Yeah.
For another Iron Man.
Oh, that one, that's good. I haven't heard that. That's a good one. But I don't know if I don't, number 1, I don't know if I want another one.
I don't know if I would either, and I don't know if there's enough hype from.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
For another
See,
one.
because Iron Man 3 was good and it did really well internationally and everything, but it kind of let me down because they set it up for him to be a new, similar to the books. They set up this new status quo of him destroying his suits, and then in Avengers 2, he's just back to being Iron Man.
Yeah, that's what really threw me on that movie. I'm like, why is he doing all this stuff? He just decided, no, I'm not going to do it.
I think it was because
they brought the Civil War thing, so he had to
come back.
back to it.
And the whole thing with the his Iron Army, I think that was supposed to be more played out, more a big deal.
Yeah.
A bigger deal, like him not being Iron Man, these things kind of taking over. So I think that's what they were trying to seed in Iron Man 3.
That's what I was going to say.
But they needed him to play a bigger role in Avengers.
But at the same time, in Avengers, it was more like the Sentinels that he was creating.
Exactly.
It wasn't so much Iron Man suits.
Suits, exactly. So I don't know. I was just a little bit let down by the end of 3 and how that didn't carry over. So I don't know if I want an Iron Man 4.
It was cool to see Pepper Potts be a badass.
It was, but again, it really just seemed like Marvel was just kind of using it to kind of go, oh yeah, look, our women can do stuff too, but not give her a real role.
Right.
In that movie.
Speaking of women and Iron Man, there's a comic I've been seeing in the store, Iron Man FE.
I don't know.
Looks like I'm assuming Pepper Potts in the Iron Man suit.
Oh, that's like the end of Superior Iron Man.
Looked really interesting to me.
Yeah, she was only in the suit for 2 issues.
Yeah. I was assuming that it probably wasn't that good.
Yeah.
Because I haven't heard shit about it.
I mean, it was interesting, but it wasn't as big as a big a deal as what it should have been. So I don't know about another Iron Man movie. What do you think, Dave?
I mean, I've been not that interested in the lone Iron Man movies after 2.
No, I mean, what is your wild speculation on what one of the 3 movies?
Okay.
Hulk.
Oh, Planet Hulk. Planet Hulk.
That's
definitely.
not one of my theories, so I'm not gonna.
That's what I would want, but
that's what
not
I
my
want.
theory.
I don't think that's what it is, though.
Well, Mark Ruffalo's been talking about it.
Well, he's been talking about it, but they also been talking about how he's gonna appear in Ragnarok.
Ooh,
Thor 3. They've been talking about how he's gonna be in it. So maybe that's seeding it. So maybe one of those is Planet Hulk, or maybe they're gonna kind of make Ragnarok half Planet Hulk, like him leading an army. What I think maybe is possible. How he's gonna show up in that is maybe Civil War. They launch him into space. Ragnarok is how they show he was leading that planet, and then Planet Hulk isn't going to be a thing, but he's going to attack. That's going to be Avengers 4, essentially.
Real quick on the note of
World
Planet
War
Hulk. Actually, my favorite Secret Wars
Planet
line
Hulk?
is Planet Hulk. That's
With Captain America being... I liked Future Imperfect.
I didn't read Future Imperfect,
You should read it. You love Hulk. I think that was my favorite.
Okay.
Just seeing more Maestro, because that's one of my... Future Imperfect is such a good story.
Yeah,
seeing more of that was neat.
I just know that Planet Hulk just blew my mind.
I think they should do an Old Man Logan and just have him sleep with She-Hulk. That was. I know it was just shock value, but it worked. Like I always will remember that moment.
Yeah.
Him and his redneck kids.
God dang.
I also like the way that they finished up with Old Man Logan.
Yeah, I thought that was really good. It made me kind of like the rest of the series. I didn't like it. I was kind of bored throughout it.
The first couple issues were just kind of
Him meandering along, which was
Yeah.
cool though. He's kind of like a wandering samurai vibe. It was just a little boring to read.
Yeah, just because he was talking to himself essentially.
Exactly.
And-
That's what it was. It was just that classic. Need to give this guy a sidekick or somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
So I mean, and then when he got into fights, just felt like it was an excuse to make him talk to somebody.
Give this man a volleyball to talk to.
Exactly. Like fucking where's his Wilson? But so Planet Hulk, I think, is a good bet. I think it's a good bet for Planet Hulk or World War Hulk. One of the two.
Yeah.
Because they really love having people destroy New York. So why not another World War Hulk movie?
That, and I think a lot of people really want to see more Hulk.
I think they do too.
Especially with
Do you think
Mark Ruffalo.
we think with them bringing Thunderbolt Ross back, think they're going to do Red Hulk?
Maybe.
Maybe. I think it'd be good. I don't know if they want to yet, but I think it'd be really interesting.
I think it'd be really cool just to have more Hulk.
And I thought he was really good in the Incredible Hulk movie.
Yeah.
And like at the end with his interplay with Stark was neat too. And especially at the end how he's kind of down on his luck and he was drinking and stuff. Like I could see him playing a big role in Civil War because he is in Civil War.
Yeah.
But him maybe trying to do some gamma radiation stuff. I think that'd be neat. But they'd have to bring back Betty Ross, and they just did the whole thing with Mark Ruffalo and Black Widow. So I don't know. It's up in the air.
I mean, they wouldn't necessarily have to.
No, they wouldn't have to, but you know.
Because, I mean, that's the whole thing is the cinematic universe is its own story.
It's true, but Ross hates him because he was with Betty.
That's true.
And he wanted him to be a weapon. That's why, you know, that's where that whole feud started, was with Betty. So
Yeah.
I feel like you don't have as much of a good connection with Ross to Banner without her.
Right.
If they do it well, they could, you know, but just to me, you know, that's where that relationship is.
Yeah.
Maybe she gets hurt in the aftermath of Hulk doing something.
That's
And-
happened 1,000 times. That's been every...
Well, no, and then he decides, well, I'm going to make myself a Hulk and kill this bastard.
Maybe, and that's a possibility too. But what I'm saying is they'd have to bring back Betty, and that's his love interest.
Yeah.
They've already turned that into Black Widow.
She must get killed by Nitro in the explosion for Civil War.
Civil War. Oh,
But-
God, that'd be so cool. Do you think they're going to do the explosion?
I have no idea.
Because they can't use Nitro by name,
know.
and they can't use... Well, can they use Speedball? Is Speedball's mutant?
I don't know.
Mm,
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
Is he?
I don't know.
I'm trying to think of where he was first.
I'm trying to think of two. I think he appeared in Avengers first, right?
Just slap that good old Inhuman label on him. He'll be good.
But you can only do that, though, if he didn't first appear in X-Men.
Right.
Otherwise, they own the rights to him.
Damn
Same
it.
thing with Fantastic Four. If a character,
Friggin-
that's why they can't use Galactus because he was in Fantastic
Fox
Four
is
number.
just
You know,
being boner kill.
exactly. Speaking of Fox, that's where my wild speculation is. Fantastic Four failed, right?
Yeah.
And they're saying they're not canceling the sequel. What if the sequel or another reboot is in the Marvel universe? What if they make another deal like Spider-Man?
God, I hope so.
What do you think? I mean,
I think it would be cool.
do you think
I
it's
don't
possible?
See, I don't see
you
Fox
don't see him
though.
doing it.
I mean,
But Fantastic, not give him X-Men. Maybe that's like a deal. Like,
Right.
You know how they were trying to get that X-Men show?
Yeah.
Maybe they go, hey, look, we'll let you do the X-Men show if you let us use Fantastic Four. What do you... I mean...
I really hope so, because Fantastic Four was like my intro to comics.
I just... I feel the same way as how we talked about it on some older podcasts, is that I think it'd be awesome. I think it's a possibility. I don't think it's as crazy as everyone thinks. I think it's a possibility with how bad Fantastic Four bombed.
I think it's a possibility, but honestly, I feel like it really should have happened much
Yeah,
sooner.
that's
because of
exactly
everything
it.
that's gone on.
Reed Richards has no role in the future. You know what I mean? In my eyes, it's no Civil War.
I
you
mean,
know.
unless they write another book where he's
And
tied
I'm
into the future.
pretty sure he's gonna die in Secret Wars. I'm pretty sure that's gonna be his swan song. But I don't know. I just think that'd be neat if they did that, and I think it's a possibility. I don't know if he he's gonna be a different role. It's gonna be a different Reed Richards because otherwise he would have played into everything. But it'd still be neat. I feel like they might find a way to do it. My other speculation is either a Spider-Man sequel or spin-offs. So like Drew Goddard has talked about how Sinister Six is still a possibility,
Okay.
and how he might want to do that. And then my other theory is Venom. So like Spider-Man spin-offs.
I
Yeah,
didn't think about that.
Venom. Yeah. Ooh, ah.
I really just want to see a really good Venom.
They've also rumored Miles Morales is going to appear in the Spider-Man solo movie. So maybe Miles Morales movie.
That would be cool.
It'd be cool.
If
So
it's not
theories.
Donald Glover,
It can't be. Donald Glover's like 30.
Yeah,
I don't
he's way
care.
too old.
I think it'd be cool if he voiced Miles Morales in like an animated movie or something, like he did in Ultimate Spider-Man. He
Yeah.
voiced him, but I'd love to see Miles Morales, but I think Donald Glover is just too old for it.
I don't care.
Although he can play pretty young. Like when he shaves, he does
Yeah.
look pretty young. So I mean, maybe. The guy who actually is playing Wally West in the new Flash, he could be a really good Miles Morales because he's young and he looks the part. Like he looks like it really, really well. And I don't know if he's going to be a good Wally, but you know what I'm talking about?
I don't think he looks the part for
Miles?
Miles.
The guy was playing Wally West in the new show?
Oh, in the show?
Yeah. Wally West in the new
Oh,
52
yeah.
is half black and half Hispanic.
Okay. Yeah, I see. I was thinking of something. When you said show, I wasn't even thinking that. I thought you were talking about like the movie for the Flash.
No, Ezra Miller?
Yeah.
no.
I was like,
no. He's playing Barry Allen.
yeah.
No, the Wally West that got cast for the Flash TV show.
Okay.
I will always want a 2099 Spider-Man movie.
How do you do that though? Because you have to. They'd have to really
set
stick with
that
it.
up.
Exactly. So like, my love of Invincible is they set up future possibilities and they usually follow through with them. Like stuff that gets seeded really early on that comes back. Marvel, I don't think could do that. If you did a 2099 movie, so you set up Alchemax, so they'd have to seed Alchemax in the main universe. They're not going to stick with any of that shit. There's going to be so many contract changes and stuff. It'd be its own little thing, you know?
Oh yeah.
I could see back when it was Fox, I could see them doing it.
No.
Or Sony, not Fox.
Yeah.
Well, back when it was Sony.
I could see an animated series, but
What if even crazier possibility with the end of Age of Apocalypse, the new Gambit movie, and the rest of those movies being incorporated into the Marvel universe? Because Deadpool is now an Avenger. Just saying.
Ooh.
Right. Possibility. I don't think it's ever going to happen.
X gonna give it to you.
X going to give it to you. I don't think it's going to happen, but it'd be neat. It'd be neat. I don't know, guys. What do you think? Let us know what you think. You know, go ahead and email us or check us out on Twitter. What else do you guys want to talk about today? We might as well give them some bonus content. If you don't like it, shut it off.
yeah. What was it? Have you seen the rumors and the teasers on IGN about Civil War 2?
Yeah. We talked about that last week. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
I freaked out about it.
It is known.
Oh, yeah.
It is known.
Well, there's that.
So they're retooling Risk.
Yeah, retooling Risk. So complete 180 topic wise, talking about some board games real quick, is that they changed Risk, like the main game. Now it's happened a couple times over the years, but mostly when you think of like tabletop games that are classic, you think Monopoly, you think Risk, you think those games, but you don't think of Risk ever changing. It's been the same forever.
Doesn't that seem a little risky?
He said it. So they've retooled it. Took away some of the randomization of it. They're adding a new one, Risk Europe. It's going to be kind of like the main game. It's going to be like feudal.
Oh.
So like, you know, knight stuff like that. But it's going to be the main game. I think they're going to be making that like the main Risk. So I don't know how good it's going to be, but I'm still interested in buying it. And also, they came out with the new Risk
company.
the new Risk Star Wars game, which is, if you guys played the classic Star Wars board game, did you guys ever play that? It's
I
like
didn't.
that. It's because the classic Star Wars game was kind of like Risk, but like less randomness, less dice rolling, and that's what the Star Wars game is. Because essentially, you have the main planets that you fight over, and then on the outskirts is that you have a TIE fighter and Luke's X-wing, and you fight over that as well.
Oh.
It's really, really neat. I just wanted to bring it up just because Risk hasn't changed in a long fucking time, and the new iterations are usually just worse versions of the normal game. Because Risk is, while it's a classic, it's not that amazing of a game in my opinion. I think there's other land grabby games that have done better jobs, like Game of Thrones. I will always talk about Game of Thrones.
But see, I've never played Risk before.
You never played Risk before?
No,
I almost
not
want
ever.
to play it with you.
I didn't have friends as a kid.
Risk is a really long game,
So long.
and it's so random because it's all based off dice rolls. Like, you move into certain areas, so you have that strategic element, but the fights are all roll and
It gets super boring after playing for so
really
long.
does, because it's like Monopoly. You play until someone rules the
Stick
world.
with it.
Yeah,
Jeez.
that's why it takes so fucking long to play. So I don't know. The new version should make it go a little bit faster. Should end some of the randomness. I'm excited for it. I just wanted to toss that out there a little bit. Jessica Jones. I want to talk about Jessica Jones.
I was just about to bring those up.
They didn't release. I mean, they released several teasers for Jessica Jones, but they finally released some stuff for Daredevil.
Yeah.
And
Ooh.
yeah, Daredevil number 2. or season 2 rather, and they've teased Punisher in there. They teased Elektra. They actually showed Elektra putting on her veil thing. That was really neat.
Do we know who's going to play the Punisher?
Yeah, John Barenthal.
Oh, right, yeah. Sorry.
He was cast a long time ago.
Sorry, I had a stroke.
It's cool. I mean, the teaser basically consisted of them sitting in church, showing a big montage of last season. The priest talking to Daredevil again, and then John Barenthal being in a hospital with a gun going, beg. So, was awesome.
it beg or egg?
Beg.
It sounded like he said egg.
Why would he say egg?
I don't know. That's what I thought he said.
Because he's hard-boiled.
But the reason why I say Jessica Jones, because Jessica Jones just released a one-shot comic book digitally this week for free. You should check it out. Check me out on Twitter. I actually linked to it. And it's basically kind of showing her sleuthy ways. She sneaks into a hospital to meet with somebody, and at first you think it's to find out if the cops beat him up, get to the main story. Then later you find out he was beat up by the devil of Hell's Kitchen.
Oh.
Daredevil cuts to Daredevil, showing him in his new costume doing some damage. She's like, oh, there's a guy beating up criminals in Hell's Kitchen. That's fucking awesome. Because you thought she was there to help him.
Yeah.
And he goes, what? And then she cracks his hand open and is like, look, you owe back child support. You should pay for it. And that's what she was there to serve him with child support papers. But it was really neat. It kind of showed her being classical Jessica Jones.
Classica Jessica.
Classica Jessica. It's been a long day, guys.
Of sleeping.
So I'm super pumped for that. Also super pumped that it was free. I was not expecting that. I mean, you get those tie-ins to the shows a lot, but normally...
that's pretty awesome for them to just drop it and go, here, take it.
Yeah, especially they didn't make a big deal out of it
We
either.
made this thing for you.
I came across it through my Comixology feed. I didn't see it on Twitter. I didn't see it on Marvel or anything like that. Did you guys hear about it before I mentioned it?
I didn't know about it till you mentioned it.
I didn't know nothing about birthing no babies.
I would totally check that out. We're only a few weeks away. It comes out in mid-November.
Yep.
You excited?
Yes.
Jessica Jones. You're probably the most excited out of all of us because you didn't read Jessica Jones.
I know nothing, Jon Snow.
You should read Jessica Jones. It's really, really good. And I think the show's going to be different enough from the comic, so it's not going to spoil too much.
Sweet.
There are a couple threads in there, relationship-wise.
I'm already spending too much on comics as it is. I'm probably not going to get to Jessica Jones.
Alias? It's free, man. Well, no, that kind of stuff. You can read my version. I have them all digitally. You can read it. It's free. It's okay. It'll be all right.
I also need to learn how to read again.
No,
I forgot.
There's not a lot of heavy reading. It's a very sparse book when it comes to dialogue, but it's good.
Is there math? I can't do math.
I did have a question for you guys. Dave, this is a little bit less and more for Jordan. Since Ant-Man is in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and he's Scott Lang, who dated Jessica Jones in this Jessica Jones book. Jessica Jones, like I told you last week, kind of was in the background of all the Marvel events,
right?
But the several characters that she did interact with, heavily, are Luke Cage, Daredevil, very heavily Luke Cage, Daredevil, Miss Marvel, and Scott Lang, Ant-Man. Scott Lang is in the movies, so do you think that relationship's going to be there at all since he's with the Wasp currently?
I mean, I can see Easter eggs of them just
maybe talking about it,
some random eggs for us in there, but
yeah, a reference, maybe him and the Wasp broke up for a little while and he dated Jessica Jones or something.
Yeah,
because that's the thing is they were all kind of like Easter eggs. She at one point stalks a guy and then you find out it was Captain America. Yeah. You find out that she went to high school with Spidey. These were kind of like Easter eggs. They were plot points that were important to her, but they were only touched on a little bit. That wasn't the focus of the story.
Maybe they dated before he became Ant-Man.
Maybe. No, I was going to say that too.
Yeah, my ex-girlfriend Jessica.
Exactly. It could all be a thing. And the other thing that they have to talk about is her history as a superhero. I know we talked about that last week, how they're going to do it. But after seeing some of the teasers and stuff, they're not shying away from it. She was definitely a costume hero.
Yeah.
So I'm just interested to see if that interplay is still there. And it's coming up, and I'm super excited, so I just wanted to talk about it and ramble.
Rabble.
I also, I've been playing a fuck ton of Rocket League. I played at least 6 matches today.
Hoorah.
You guys like Rocket League still?
I love Rocket League.
We should totally
it's
Rocket
a league of rockets.
If anybody listening wants to play Rocket League, go ahead and shoot us an email, and I'll drop our email and stuff at the end. But we'll totally play Rocket League with you. Boom. We'll totally play all those things with you, really. So we kind of went over everything we wanted to go over new comics, what we're reading. Jessica Jones, Daredevil. Let's talk about the voiceover strike. So we didn't talk about it that much last week. We just mentioned that it might be happening. Well, they voted. The union voted, and they voted like over 90%.
So they got the green light to do it.
They got the green light
they
to do it.
They just haven't done it yet.
Exactly. They have the go-ahead to do it. That doesn't mean the union has done it. So basically, it's like a threat. Now, I don't mean that as like a knock against the union. I fully support the strike, actually. But I think what they're saying is, a good thing. And their demands aren't that demanding. It's like, hey, warn us if there's going to be motion capture so we can be prepared for it. You can't make us scream at the top of our lungs for 9 hours. Without, warning us, giving us sufficient breaks. They're not asking for royalties that much, actually. They're asking for, like, certain caps. And, like, the caps that they're talking about is, like, if a game sells, like, over 8 million copies, like, that doesn't, like, happen all the time,
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I think it's all very reasonable. And a lot of people are saying, well, they only work on it part of the time. What about the developers? In the defense of the developers aren't unionized. They don't have the right to demand those things. I think they should unionize.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think they should try to get rights in royalties as well. But until then, no knock against the voice actors. I think they have every right to do this because it's a union. That's what they're for.
That's your union is there for you to complain and file grievances.
Exactly.
All that stuff.
I think the developers and all those guys should also unionize. But I'm in full support of that strike. And now they have the go-ahead. I don't think it's going to come to that. I don't think they are going to strike. I think the developers are going to cave.
Yeah, like especially with like all the summer anime that's going to come out. Oh, shoot, this is
this
game
is video
voice
games.
acting. My bad.
but you're on the right money.
Yeah.
This is when those games get made. This is when they start those production because all those games are now coming out. It's on time to move to the next project.
Yeah,
this would be the time that you start casting. So unless they want all that scab work, which is difficult, voice acting is a hard job.
Oh yeah,
it takes a lot of talent. You're not going to be able to find Joe Schmo,
And they're going to want people who are trained and know what the hell they're doing.
Bingo. Because that's the thing a lot of people don't realize about voice actors. They're still actors.
Yeah.
They are still trained. They have talent, Most of those people also act.
Mm-hmm.
Like bad example, maybe, but like if you look at the guy who does Nathan Drake, what's his name? Shit. I can't think of his
Nolan
name.
North.
Nolan North, thank you. Did Superman... All those things. He was
Superboy. A great Superman, Superboy.
He was so good. Actually, I want to talk about that here in a minute. But he was also in a bunch of different soap operas. He's acted for a long, long time.
Yeah, he was actually in an episode of Haven on Sci-Fi.
Yeah. That's what I mean. He's also an actor. And these people are talented, and they deserve everything that they're asking for.
Yeah, I mean, even when they're in the booth, all the physical acting that they do just to help portray that character.
Exactly, and they're not asking for all of the money from the game.
I think back to Robin Williams, doing any type of voice acting.
You look at how physical he gets.
If you see any video of him in the booth, it's ridiculous. He's all over the booth.
Yeah, see, and I go Troy Baker or oh shoot, I'm trying to think of his name. He did I Know That Voice, the documentary, the voice of Jake.
Yeah, John DiMaggio.
John DiMaggio, thank you. Super physical in the booth.
Yeah,
it's a strenuous job, and they deserve to be compensated for it. A lot of things that people don't understand is they're paid sporadically. You know, it's like they come in for
a solid market.
When you come and say you get all of your voice acting done in one day, you did an 8-hour thing. You get paid for that 8 hours. That game comes out, and you're the main thing of that whole game,
you are basically the soul of that character.
Exactly. So it's no different than when you get a celebrity and they do a role for, like, Pixar or something.
Yeah.
It's no different. If anything, it's probably a little bit harder because they do all of the side voices and stuff, too, a lot. So I just want to talk about that a little bit. What I was mentioning is Nolan North was talking about doing a project with Rocksteady. Do you think maybe they're making a Superman game?
You know what? I could be into that.
I think that'd be awesome. Or a Justice League game or something. It's just exciting to hear that Rocksteady might not be done with that superhero stuff.
It'd be really neat if they did a Green Arrow.
That would be really cool. I don't know if they would, but he would be a really good Green Arrow. If they did it in, like, classic Green Arrow, like the fun, Green Arrow.
Sometimes I just really want to punch someone far away.
Speaking of fun Green Arrow, did you guys watch Green Arrow this week? The season 4 premiere? Or last week, rather?
The Arrow?
Yeah.
I did not because I am still at the beginning of season 3.
We'll try not to spoil anything for you, but I know you're not, like, a huge fan of those shows.
Yeah.
I know you're kind of falling off.
Still, I'm not a fan of spoilers.
Well, watch the fucking show, and
True.
then, you're going to bitch to me about not liking Flash. I'm going to spoil the fuck out of it then because I'm watching it, and I want to talk about it. But I'm not going to spoil it for you. But it was fun, is what I want to mention.
It's a fun burn.
No, they've Green Arrow was a lot less dark than I expected it to be.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, people still died. That there was still stuff like that, but he called himself Green Arrow #1.
Sweet.
He's
Yeah.
like, I'm the Green
I'm
Arrow.
the Green Arrow. They made a big deal about it. I'm like, that's not that. It's not that different of a name. I see what you're going for. But
We all saw that color.
but it was still neat. It was still neat and it was a little bit more fun. Like I said, the jokes kept rolling in, which is really interesting. There was still the classic drama of it, different ties were broken, stuff like that. But it was still more fun than normal.
I still want
to end scene, man.
Yeah, the end scene, man. What the fuck? I can tell you because you don't know who it is either. They essentially did a How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
Is what they did. Is they flash forward 6 months. Barry and Ollie are at a funeral.
Shit.
They don't
They're
show
at
who's
a
on the
grave
grave. It's on a gravesite. I think they're building up to be Felicity, but I think it's a red herring. I don't think it's going to be Felicity.
Damn.
But it was still really weird. And like I said, How I Met Your Mother does.
Yep.
So now we're going to be wondering for a whole season who the fuck's getting married or who died. So, I mean, interesting stuff. I'm excited for it.
Now, kids, let's go back 6 months.
Exactly. I don't know how I feel about it. One last thing I want to talk about. I promise this is the final one last thing. Well, we're gone for almost an hour and a half.
Once more with feeling.
Have you guys read any horror comics before? Dave probably not, but
Not really.
other than like maybe Constantine.
Well, you can't really. Can you classify Haunt as a horror?
Haunt,
comic?
I think, can classify a little bit. There was some intrigue in there. It was the horror comic in the way that Spawn was.
Yeah, it was the most interesting dark comic I've ever read.
Right,
It was
right.
really sweet, and I'm disappointed I haven't got all the whole set of it.
Yeah, from Image, which is what I want to talk
I've
about.
read some graphic novels that are darker.
Like
but
what?
I don't remember what they were. They were just kind of obscure.
What?
Picked them up.
Right. What I want to talk about is Witches from Jock and Scott Snyder, the guys who do Batman.
Oh, okay.
Which is one of my favorite comics out there.
I'm
Still,
Batman.
it's solidly good at issue 45, which is hard to do. I mean, a lot of people think it fell off in like the 15 and 20s with Death of the Family arc. I really like that arc. I thought it was really good.
I like the arc. I disagree with its placement in the overall New 52 thing.
Well, because it was part of the confusion. It was kind of like the Jeff Johns Green Lantern thing because it continued on the story that started before.
Yeah.
And still was part of the New 52.
It was just a bad jumping on point for people. Really.
It was. It was just still a good story.
Yeah, it definitely was. But
Because when people always ask me, like, can I just jump on to Batman? Normally I say yes, but I say no with Scott Snyder's Batman. Start at 0 because it's so good.
yeah, that dining table scene.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly. And Batman's been solid all the way through, in my opinion. And that's how I felt with Witches. Witches, it's only at issue 6 right now, so I completely encourage you guys to jump on. It's a horror comic, so be wary of that if you're not interested in that. But it's classic Scott Snyder writing, and what it's about is a new take on what witches are. It's scientific, but really horror. Because what his idea for witches is that they live in the woods and they're primordial. They've been around longer than us, maybe mutated from us at some point. They don't look like humans.
They're old as time itself.
Yeah, I didn't actually find the creatures that disturbing looking, but a lot of other people probably would have just desensitized.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of stuff.
Exactly. So
We've
I
seen
think
some shit.
The main crux of it is that the witches can give you whatever you want, whether it be mystical or potions or whatever, but you have to pledge something. You have to give something up. So you've
got to drown some rabbits.
Yeah, you can exactly. You have to give up somebody, but it doesn't have to be necessarily. You can pledge anybody. You can pledge your next door neighbor if you want to. So you mix something into their food or you spray it on them. The witches come and get it. Come get that person. They eat that person. They cook them in a cauldron. Take them down deep, and they give you whatever you were asking for. And they give you a potion to make everybody forget that person existed. But the main crux of the story isn't just that. I keep saying that. It's about a family, and their daughter is pledged. So it's like trying to figure out why, and how do you save your kid from this thing that everyone doesn't believe existed. And
okay.
Yeah, it's really, really good. And it's I was told to read it and not to read it by the same person because I'm gonna be a father soon. I have a baby on the way, and I was like, I can kind of read something they recommended to me. They're like, this is a really good book for being a parent, and also a really terrible book if you're a parent. But I'm so glad I read it. It was so good. It was touching. It was scary. It was everything.
Just make sure they stay away from trees.
Exactly. Fucking A, man. Like, how do you keep your kid away from the forest? it was just amazing. The other book I want to talk about is from Robert Kirkman, another one of my favorite writers, the creator of Invincible, The Walking Dead also Fear the Walking Dead. I'm not watching those shows, but the comic books as well. It's about an exorcism, like, kind of thread. It's about a priest and a guy called the Outcast who has powers to help exorcise people, but he's also plagued because the demons are following him.
Oh.
So when he was younger, his mother was possessed, and he saved her. You know, he was able to get the demon out, you know, him being with this talent, but it also, like, left her catatonic.
Oh,
and he didn't know that she was possessed. She was just abusing him for like years.
Damn.
And no one knew. She just stopped going outside and stuff. And there's a thread in there that same thing happened to his wife and his daughter. But he beat them up trying to get the demon out. And it worked, but now they left. They don't remember it happening. They just remember their husband and father beating them up.
Sort of reminds me of Red Eyes from Supernatural.
Exactly. It's kind of like that. So, like, he's left. No one talks to him, you know. And then this priest comes around. And he's like, look, I need your help. There's more people being possessed. And he's like, no one's possessed. You're crazy. I'm crazy. I beat up my wife. And so, exactly. So it's like him kind of coming to terms with it is what the story's about. And it's solid. Also, pretty early in the run. There's only 12 issues out right now. But the reason why I brought all of these up is because they're doing a mini-series, possibly a whole series, on Showtime of The Outcast.
Oh.
Yeah, so they're bringing it to the TV. And also, Witches got optioned recently for a Brad Pitt movie.
I'm with you.
Yeah. Oh, I'd watch Brad Pitt in anything.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt and Ben Affleck.
After 12 Monkeys, I was like, I love this guy. Put him in everything.
Brad Pitt, he's amazing. So that's why I bring it up, is because you're going to be seeing it in media soon. So I recommend reading it before it comes out. I always recommend if there's going to be something like that. I'm not that douche goes, oh, it was much better in the book. But you should read it before it comes out.
You've got to read the comic. It was much better than the comic.
I'm going to actually go see Martian tomorrow.
Nice.
I love the book.
I
The
still
book is
haven't
really
read
good.
that, and I want to.
You should. It's a short read. It's only 300-some pages.
Ooh.
So you could probably get through it in a day.
Yeah.
It's an awesome book. Witches, Outcast, awesome. I'm pretty much done. We talked really long today, but we had a lot to go over. I hope everybody enjoyed it. You guys got anything else you want to add?
Space Monkeys.
Space Monkeys. All right,
From outer
Jordan.
space.
Sea monkeys.
Sea monkeys.
From in the sea.
A lot of monkeys, guys.
Crossover.
I feel like you've lost the momentum here. So we're going to call that a day. If you want to follow us on Twitter, we're at CaveTrollsCast. If you want to email us, we're cavetrollscast@gmail.com. I am Resident Stevel on the Twitter. I'm going to spell it out because I got someone complaining that they followed somebody else, and I apologize because my name is terrible. It's REZIDENTSTEEVIL. So Resident Stevel spelled ridiculously. I also have my blogs, IGN/blog/Resident Stevel, residentstevel.kinja.com. You can check out my comic book reviews over there. Dave is David Tulgetske on Twitter.
I think it might be Tulgetske David.
Tulgetske David on Twitter.
I haven't been on Twitter in a long time. You might even not want to bother with
don't
it.
even bother with it then. But you can if you want. Fucking just tweet at him and just make it terrible every time he gets on to check it. Jordan, you're extra Jordinary.
Yeah, I'll spell that one out too because it's not just like the word extra. It's XTRA_JORDAN_ARY.
Still an awesome name. Thank you for listening. If you want us, definitely, email us, tweet at us, twatter us. Clitoris, Twitterus. Definitely get a hold of us. We want to hear back from you. We want to hear what you guys want us to talk about. We want to know what you guys think of the shows, what you thought of these comic books that we talked about, all these upcoming projects. Like us on iTunes. Subscribe. If you don't like us and you're on iTunes, give us a terrible review. Just let us know what you're listening. We want to hear from you either way. Just don't throw any burning poop at my house. That's all I ask for. I get tired of that. Pretty sure it's Jordan. Time, Jordan.
That's fine. I don't have to.
Your computer desk is literally in this room.
Yeah, but I'm not the one that's clean it up.
You have another computer desk in my basement.
That's yours now.
You're the captain. You're team captain. All right, guys. Thanks for listening.
Thank you and good night.
I say the last word.
I buff.
No. I am Jim Gordon.